Every winter tells a story, but not every story agrees with itself. Ask one Blue Jays fan what they think of this offseason, and you'll hear confidence, excitement, even quiet swagger. Ask another, and you'll get a sigh, a shrug, and the feeling that something slipped through Toronto's fingers. So today, here on the Blue Jays Report, we're stepping away from the noise, away from the instant reactions, and asking the only question that actually matters. Did the Toronto Blue Jays get better this offseason, or did they simply tread water and convince themselves it was progress? Because at first glance, this winter feels like a contradiction. More players walked out the door than came in. Big names disappeared from the clubhouse, while unfamiliar ones arrived carrying expectations like heavy luggage. Dylan Cease, Cosimo Komodo, Cody Pone, Tyler Rogers, Shane Bieber stays, anchoring continuity. Out go Bo Bichette, Chris Bassett, Max Scherzer, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, Ty France. It looks lopsided, it feels risky, and yet sometimes subtraction sharpens the shape of a team rather than dulling it. There's a reason this debate refuses to die, and it's because value doesn't always arrive loudly. A fascinating projection shared earlier this winter suggested the Blue Jays added roughly 4.5 wins above replacement since free agency began, ranking them among the top off-seasons in baseball. Not because they replaced what they lost, but because what they added carries the promise of growth rather than the certainty of decline. That distinction matters. The Blue Jays didn't chase nostalgia, they chased upside. But let's not dodge the uncomfortable truth. Losing Bo Bichette hurts. It hurts on paper, it hurts emotionally, and it hurts when you imagine runners on base with no number 11 stepping into the box. Bichette gave you power, production, and presence, all while missing a significant chunk of the season. Replacing that outright was never realistic. Cosimo Komodo arrives not as a clone, but as a question mark shaped like hope. His numbers in Japan were thunderous, his consistency frightening, but baseball has a habit of humbling even the most decorated imports. The bat speed, the discipline, the power, all of it must survive a new world. Until it does, the offense has taken a step back, even if only slightly. And yet, the story doesn't end at the plate. It shifts to the mound, where this offseason will ultimately be judged. Dylan Cease is the hinge upon which the entire winter swings. If this story were a novel, he'd be the character everyone remembers, for better or worse. Last season was uneven, uncomfortable, and at times alarming. But Cease's ceiling is not a rumor, it's a memory. A frontline starter with swing-and-miss stuff that can suffocate October lineups. If he finds that version of himself again, this offseason becomes a win written in ink. If he doesn't, it becomes a lesson written in regret. The Blue Jays didn't stop there, and that matters. Cody Pone isn't just a depth arm, he's a bet against the past. His previous MLB chapter was forgettable, but his reinvention overseas was loud, dominant, and confident. Awards followed, so did belief. Toronto didn't bring him in to be a savior, they brought him in to raise the floor. If he gives them more than Max Scherzer did last season, the math starts to tilt in their favor. Then there's Shane Bieber, the quiet constant in a winter full of movement. Retaining him wasn't flashy, but it was necessary. Stability matters when you're asking other arms to climb. Add in a full season of Trey Savage, and suddenly the rotation feels less fragile, less dependent on perfect health. Not elite yet, but stronger, deeper, and undeniably more interesting. Before we go any further, if you're enjoying this breakdown and want more honest, grounded analysis throughout the season, make sure you like the video, share it with a fellow Jays fan, and subscribe to the Blue Jays Report. It genuinely helps the channel grow. And then there's the bullpen, quietly transformed while everyone was arguing about the lineup. Tyler Rogers doesn't arrive with fireworks, he arrives with matches already extinguished. He's a fireman, a workhorse, a pitcher who thrives when chaos knocks. Compared to what Toronto lost, especially Sir Anthony Dominguez, this is a clear upgrade. Fewer heart-stopping innings, more reliability, more trust. In close games, that can be the difference between surviving a season and watching it slip away. So where does that leave us? The lineup is slightly worse, at least on paper. The starting pitching is better, but only if the bets pay off. The bullpen is better, full stop. This offseason wasn't about domination. It was about balance, about trading known ceilings for higher ones, about believing that development and upside can close the gap left by familiar names. In the end, I believe the Blue Jays did get better, even if not dramatically. An A- winter. Not perfect, not explosive, but thoughtful and deliberate. And at worst, they stayed level with the team that reached the World Series last year. That is not failure. That is relevance. Now the waiting begins. Dylan Cease must answer the question, Cody Pone must justify the faith, Kasimo Komodo must write his own chapter. And if they do, this winter will be remembered not as the one where Toronto hesitated, but the one where they quietly positioned themselves to strike. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Did the Blue Jays win this offseason, lose it, or simply play it smart? Thank you for watching the Blue Jays Report. And as always, go Jays.